Sup! So, for some reason, in just a couple of sections in this video, my voice breaks up a little bit. I don't know why. I apologize. It doesn't normally happen. I hope you can ignore it. I just wanted to mention it. I am aware of it. You should still enjoy because I make good stuff. Alright, alright. Enjoy the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today is a serious one. It's a message of honesty, of contrition, of accountability. I myself have made videos exposing the cheating and hacking of others. I've called out some of those who participate in this dirty deed. I've projected onto other people and have built up this image of being against such practices. Some of you have suspected this for a while. Many times this has been brought up and I've pushed it aside. I've explained it away, or I've just ignored the accusations. Trust me, I've had my own justifications that I've built up in my head, but the time is right. The time is now to be honest. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been cheating in my videos, is what I would say if I was a filthy scumbag. But of course, I've not been cheating. This is all the real deal. But I do get a lot of comments pointing out certain things in my gameplay that they feel look suspicious, or they just straight up say I'm a cheater and they won't listen to any reasoning. As well as they're just being well-intentioned individuals who simply state that they can't do something they've seen in the video, or they don't understand how to replicate it. And so honestly, I just thought this would be fun. I'm bringing this video to you today to demonstrate some of the things that some people think are cheating. This will help to show that my stuff is in fact all genuine, but more importantly, some of you will get to learn some tricks and techniques so you can start to implement them in your own game. Because pretty much everything you see me do is something that most people could at least get somewhere close to doing if the correct effort and practice is put in place. I'm just like you guys in reality. Now there will be a range of things from the obvious and simple to the more nuanced and complex. We'll kick this all off with a common accusation that's also pretty easy for me to explain. An apparent lack of recoil on my weapons. Now I'm playing on console where recoil is widely accepted as being a lot harder to manage, so I can see why some people would find it suspicious. Most of the people accusing me of cheating in this manner assume I'm either using a mouse and keyboard adapter or something like a Cronus Max, which alters your controller outputs. The truth is though that it's just down to practice and how I set my weapons up. It sounds obvious, right? But it's very effective. A recent video featured me using the STG, which you can also see me using in the footage now, and there doesn't appear to be much recoil. Well, I can say that there's absolutely older footage out there of me using the STG and the recoil is very obvious, so I've learnt to control it over time. But also, take a look at my specializations. Not at all set up for recoil control, you might say. Well, kind of, but actually it's perfect for me. I've taken recoil buffer at the bottom for less upwards recoil. The rest of the setup is designed for fast response times and versatility. What this results in is I don't have to think about vertical recoil anywhere near as much. And I'm a player who often strafes side to side in gunfights, or I aim side to side, which means the horizontal recoil doesn't affect me as much. And in all honesty, the side to side recoil doesn't feel all that bad even without ported barrel, so I get all the buffs to ADS speed and hip firing while still being able to land damage aiming down sight. I pull down on the stick whenever I'm firing, I tap or burst fire when required, and I'm almost never spraying and praying because it simply isn't a good idea with the STG and weapons like this. I'll show you the difference here between controlling recoil and not controlling recoil. Okay, here we are in a somewhat empty server on Rotterdam. It's the only server that only has one other person in it, so I guess this is what we use for all of our tests, because all the other ones have loads of people in them. And let's just show you quickly from hip firing first. This is the STG without controlling recoil. So go straight up like that. Now, I will show you with controlling recoil. Ready? Not too bad, I'd say. Not too bad, apart from that initial pull down. And we'll show you here, ADS without controlling recoil. Ready? Straight up again. And I will now control my recoil. Ready, set. I'm out of ammo. That's awkward. I'll respawn. Okay, we're back. And now, with controlling recoil, you can see pretty much just a little circle there. This isn't some wild concept that you won't understand, but it does show that I am just controlling the recoil. From range, you can do the same thing, hold it pretty much in place. It's not that difficult with a little practice, so yeah, no cheating there, and you can absolutely do the same thing. If you aren't already, just go and practice with it a little bit. Oh, you know what, before we go, I will just show you the tap firing from range. So obviously trying to hit a certain point whilst in full auto, a bit difficult. I've run out of ammo again. Oh my god, I should have planned this out better. 1 second. Okay, we're back for this super professional demonstration. And from range, just with tap firing, much easier. See, you do that, or you could just go to single fire mode, a la like this. But yeah, no cheats, just controlling, okay? Let's move on. Now, also worth noting is that I'm using the reflex sight. This is a 1x magnification sight. Essentially, they make the visual recoil appear to be as low as possible, creating very stable looking gameplay. Plus, I have HUD motion turned off in the settings, as well as the lowest possible setting for camera shake scale, leading to my screen also being very stable. No bouncing around from my soldier running and such like, and less shaking from explosions, etc. If you want to see all of my up-to-date settings, I'll link to the video I made for them in the description below. Something else you can do is turn on ADS field of view. I don't personally use this at the minute, but I thought I'd mention it. It keeps your field of view the same when you ADS, so you don't get any magnification, but this also makes it appear as if you have almost no recoil. And then another one that happens often is people saying my sten is too stable, along with other weapons of course, but the sten is a big one. But to be honest, that's the whole point in the sten. I have it set up for absolute stability, and I then play around that, accepting the lower damage output in favour of landing my shots reliably and at a vast array of ranges. Moving on, one I used to see quite frequently when using semi-autos was that my rate of fire is too fast. Some people deemed it not possible to fire a semi-auto weapon that quickly without the aid of cheats on a controller, so let's go back to that lobby and play around with that briefly. Right, here we are with the M1A1 carbine or carbine. It has a rate of fire of 450 rounds per minute, which is pretty fast. And if I just do, so what I see a lot of people doing on console at least is kind of like this, right? Going like that. As some people go a bit quicker, but essentially with a bit of practice, or if you already have a fast trigger finger, you can absolutely spam the thing. This is not cheating in any way, shape or form. It's me using my finger. In fact, let me hold the controller up to the mic here. Ready? You should be able to hear this. Literally just me using my finger. No cheating. It's all manual. You can do this with practice. There's going to be very few of you that won't be able to do this if you aren't already, if you just practice. The main thing is being able to do it and then maintain your aim on the target. If you can do that, you're going to be golden. Same thing with pistols, to be honest. Same thing with everything in the game that's semi-auto. All right? Practice with it, throw it a bit quicker, you'll be good to go, hold it on target, you'll be killing way more people, having a much better time, loving all the jubblies. All right? Good. Moving on. Next up is snapping to targets or aim that looks unnatural. I'll try to keep this explanation brief. This is all just down to practice. You can see in my gameplay at times that I do still miss shots here and there, just like everybody else. In fact, I don't actually consider my raw aiming to be that great. It's more so reaction times and trusting my mechanics. So while I don't think I aim that well, I trust that I can correct my aim quickly if that makes any kind of sense. I also at times start firing before I even have my sights fully up or on the target to try to help me to land damage as early as possible, and I'm very used to predicting where people are likely to be due to having observed hot routes and commonly used spots. These are all things that you too can employ and improve upon. I'm not doing anything that most of you couldn't also do, so practice. It's also worth mentioning that yes, at times my aim is very good and I do acquire my targets quickly, but then almost as often my control of the inputs is wildly off. And I just correct quickly, as mentioned before, which can result in some weird aimbot looking gameplay. It's not me being good in that moment, it's actually more so me being kind of bad and managing to fix it. What I will say is that those of you who find my aiming and reactions suspicious obviously shouldn't go and watch professional Call of Duty. They also use controllers and they'd absolutely blow your mind. Okay, next up is something I've seen mentioned ever since the start of Battlefield 1, that I can throw my dynamite way further than some other people can. This simply isn't the case, it's strange to me to read it, but let's go and take a quick look to explain it. Okay, dynamite, one I didn't think I'd ever need to explain, but I say it all the time, so just in case, most people are, seeing something happen, they're going, oh, throw my dynamite. And they get it about there. That's maybe 4 meters, 3-4 meters-ish. But I don't do that. It's not an incredible sort of strategy, but I throw it up like so. It can go so much further. Kablamo. Like, it's not, honestly, it's not some magical sort of tactic. You just throw it up. Because it can go a lot further than you perhaps expect it can go. I was doing this in Battlefield 1 as well. We'll keep this brief, that's all it really is. Look up, throw it, it'll go further than you expect it to, boom. Once you learn the range of it, you'll be blowing people up from all angles and distances. Alright? Good. Okay, next up we have one-shotting or high damage with the Piat/grenade launcher. I apologize if the footage for this little section doesn't look too great. It's taken from an old video from my old capture card, and I can't tell in my editing software if it's up to par, but basically, so many people said that this simply isn't possible, that they used it and they didn't kill people. I don't know what to tell you if that's the case. Maybe I just aimed better? Take a look at how close a lot of these shots landed. It's simply a case of landing the shot by or near the target. Nothing special, nothing crazy, just practice. I think this has since been nerfed, and in my opinion, rightly so. I wasn't happy with this at all. It was super toxic and not okay as being a viable strategy. But yeah, no cheating or special unknown strategy, just practice your aiming. Okay, next one, the slide jump. Not many people have actually said this is cheating, although a few have, but it's more so people just not being sure how it's done or how it's used so consistently. If you're not sure what I mean, don't worry, I'm going to show you here. Okay, the slide jump. For those of you who don't know what this is, you basically do a slide like this, but if you get your timing right, you slide and you jump at the end of it and maintain momentum. You can do this over and over and over and over again, making you much harder to hit. It's not a macro or anything like that, not at all. I'm just running, tapping stick down twice, and then jumping at the end of it. Learn your timing, boom, all good. No cheats required, and then you can do something that people have noticed I do in my gameplay a lot, which I find really helpful. So rather than say just running up to this corner, coming around here, stopping and aiming, you don't have to do it that way if you don't wish to. What I prefer to do a lot of the time is run up to it, slide, jump and aim. You can do all of that business. You can aim as you slide, so you've got that going. It basically makes everything a lot faster. The enemy has less time to prepare for you, and you get to get your shots in earlier. You can do more with the slides as well. You don't have to just slide. There's a guy over there. I'm going to avoid him so he doesn't shoot me. You can actually, should we just go and kill him? 1 second. Just for the giggles. Hello, pal. Nice to meet you. Sorry about that, mate. So what you do is you don't just have to slide in the direction you're going in. You can use it to sort of trick people out, or use it so you can reload and not be a stationary target, all this stuff. You can slide and then cancel the direction. Notice how I'm going to slide forwards and then going backwards. Yes, it breaks the laws of physics, but it can be very useful. You can slide in all directions after you've started your slide. So say you get here, you slide, you see multiple people, you can pull out of it. Ready? Should I do that again? A little bit better this time. Slide, see people, pull out of it. All right, use it. It's good. Okay, free tip for you. Enjoy. Alright, moving on, a quick one here, hitting too many headshots. Guys, I don't think I even hit that many headshots. I wish I hit more. And I certainly wasn't going to go and get footage of me purposely trying to hit headshots for this video because, well, what would be the point in that? So it's just my normal gameplay here again. What I will say is that I generally try to aim for the upper chest/head area. This increases your chances of landing big damage, whilst also reducing the chances of straight up missing by just aiming for the head. Recoil control and/or low recoil weapons helps to make this more consistent as well, and we've already talked about how I like to set my weapons up and how that plays into my playstyle. So if you're like me, then play into that. If not, then find what works for you. Maybe you're more so a hipfire player, so pick your specs for that and develop your movement style around it. And let's also hit upon probably the most common accusation or criticism. One that's not at all exclusive to me, but is seen on videos all across YouTube gaming channels. And that's that I'm either only playing against bots or bad players. Or indeed that everyone that plays on console appears to be terrible, and people like myself wouldn't last on PC. Okay, so most of us understand just how ridiculous that is, right? Content creators play against the same caliber of players as everybody else. What's happening here is bias. We're all biased towards our own gameplay and against that of others. This is usually subconscious and is something that remains unless we combat it. I'm aware of it now, and so I no longer think this way. But for most people, they think almost anything they did well in a game is purely because they did something good, but when they watch someone else, they notice enemy players being less than fantastic in ways they simply don't notice in their own gameplay. It's quite simple. If you go back and watch your own gameplay, you'll start to notice that you also benefit from this as well. And on top of that, you can only beat what is placed in front of you. So if a bad person is placed in front of me, I'm gonna try to kill them and they're gonna look bad. If a good person is placed in front of me, I'm going to try to kill them, and if I do kill them, you don't even notice if they were good or not. You only really notice the bad players. As for console being for less able players, that's just straight up stupid. It's just about the controller input. Literally using a controller. Of course the gameplay will look slower and stuff. It doesn't mean everyone is bad. It means they're using different inputs. If you make two people draw something, but one gets to use their hand and the other gets to use their foot, then you can't say the person using their foot is bad at drawing. See what I'm saying? Yes, there might be something in that more younger people use a console, but honestly these days, kids are getting really good at games to the point that kids are better than adults anyway. Look at the recent Fortnite World Cup and all that sort of stuff. So this console play is a bad thing needs to go. It's so dumb. And then finally, honestly, we all still have bad moments and bad days, even content creators like myself. As solid as I believe I now am at this game, I still sometimes just play poorly. So don't feel down when you do, because it happens to literally everyone at times. And so I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which tip or piece of the video you most enjoyed or found most useful, and if you did have a good time, it takes no effort at all to turn on notifications to stay up to date. Follow me on Mixer, that's mixer.com/getgoodguy, a link's in the description. That's where you can see me play live very soon. We'll hang out and have a good time. And I'd also really appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and love them all deeply, and of course, often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.